You know, when we talk about large community change, if you look at what happens, it's usually a small group of very dedicated people who cause change and who bring things about. And then that certainly was the case in this instance.
What motivated me was the horrific death of the little girl named Danielle, about the same age as my child, who had been brutally murdered by her own father. I cried into the middle of the night. I think people just weren't aware of how commonplace and how horrific child abuse was. I didn't know about it. Children are not valued. There was a hotline, a 24-hour hotline for dogs, but there wasn't a 24-hour hotline for children. Back in the 60s, a governor mandated every county in the state of California is going to have an emergency shelter for kids, abused kids. As a volunteer there, I saw it was woefully inadequate. It was like a Romanian orphanage. It was built in the 60s for 16 children, and there were normally 80 cramped inside. So there'd be a dozen cribs in the hall or in one room. And if one baby woke up, all of them woke up. If one baby had a cold, all 18 had a cold. And I never left without crying, never. The separation of siblings, when children are taken away from their parents because of abuse, all they have is each other. And the old facility was so small and so inadequate that children were always separated. One particular time there were two little boys, and one little boy saw his brother at the other side of the building, and he slammed his body against the gate, screaming and crying. You don't forget something like that. And the more I learned, the more motivated I became. I started talking to clubs, Seroptimus clubs, Junior Chamber of Commerce Club, and said, I'm starting a foundation to help abused children, and whoever wants to help me, stay around after the meeting.
My dear wife Mary and I heard about Norma Hirsch and the effort that she was doing to assist kids that needed help.
It did bring tears to my eyes to see these kids literally stacked in a room.
It doesn't take much of a tug at your heart to see a child that has been abused or battered taken from a home and so bewildered, and most of them have been really traumatized, and so it needs to have a loving hand.
So our group got together and we asked the county to find some property where we could build a new receiving home, and we would raise the money. Art called me on the phone and asked me to have breakfast. Art and Jeannie looked at each other and nodded and said, we'd like to make the lead gift.
So we went to Jeannie's mom and dad, and they were very attracted to the purpose of the home, the necessity for it, and they, along with others, made the first gifts.
And I was blown away, and through the goodness and the genuine compassion of the Polinsky family and Art and Jeannie Rifkin, it became a reality.
My father was not alive, and my mom was here. They both, of course, knew about it and were very thrilled to be helping children.
These kids come to the Polinsky Children's Center in many cases in the backseat of a police car. They don't do this by choice. They've been ripped from their biological family because of whatever reasons or circumstances. And we need to try to begin the healing process as soon as they come in.
At Polinsky, the services are there and a child can begin to heal. And a child can stay as long as he or she needs.
Although these youth have faced challenges that many of us may think nobody could overcome, they do. All they need is a little bit of love and just a little hand up.
Working with the Polinsky Center and Promises2Kids, we can reach out and accomplish a lot more. We can do things that government in and of itself can't do. Helping kids, helping with scholarships, helping kids even after they age out of the system.
And how ludicrous to think that a child, just because they reach their 18th birthday, is ready to get out there and face the world.
Every kid that comes out of the foster program, their chances for success are very limited. So it's extremely important for this community to continue to help foster kids get their education.
About 10 years ago, we started supporting higher education for foster youth. If they receive their degrees and go back and find jobs, they're able to support themselves and ultimately break the cycle of child abuse with their own families.
The Guardian Scholars was a great idea, and the implementation of it has been very, very good.
We're grateful and we're very happy that it has helped so many kids.
I look at this as one of the crowning achievements that the Manchester family has been part of.
I have never thought of it in terms of helping 50,000 children, but it makes me feel good. And on the other hand, it makes me feel that we need to keep on helping, because for every child that's helped, there are probably a dozen out there that need our help.
It's awe-inspiring to see a child change before your very eyes. Very often a child will go towards the good, even if all they've known is evil in their life. If there's a positive role model who can show them what life could be, a child will often go that way. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.